If your truck is starting to look like this, high in the front, sagging in the back, and you didn't do it on purpose, you need to watch this video because I got a simple, easy fix. Hey guys, today I'm flipping customized. We are going to be taking this Nissan Frontier to the next level. This customer, we've been doing work for him. We put a 2.5-inch rough country suspension lift on it for him, as well as a light bar and a few other mods. And he started kind of almost like overlanding and stuff with it. And he's got a lot of stuff going on in the back of the truck and a lot of weight. And he doesn't want to compromise ride and put some stiff leaf springs in there. So what we've opted to do was Firestone makes an excellent airbag ride setup that you can adjust your ride height depending on the load in the vehicle. So let me show you what we're dealing with on this truck. As you can see, the height difference between front and rear. We need to bring this rear up. I'd say, I'll throw a measuring tape on it, but I would say it's a full 2 inches. And that's easily done with an adjustable ride height system with airbags. You can get different setups and what have you, but we opted for the manual valves in the back to adjust the ride height. So we're gonna get this thing in the shop. We'll probably grab a measurement and tear into it. All right, just a quick reference, we do have oversized tires on this truck as well, but about 37 inches in the front, and he is running a 265/75 16 on this thing, which is oversized from stock on this truck here, and about 35 1/4, so pretty close to a 2-inch, almost 1.5 inches or so difference between the front and the rear. So it's definitely sitting low in the rear, and we're going to take care of that just about now. All right, and just to show you what we got, this is the Firestone air spring kit, and what they call the Ride Rite air springs. And actually a pretty good depiction as to what your truck does when you load it up. Kind of have that rake to the back, reverse rake on it, and you install your air springs. You can go ahead and inflate those and bring the rear end up to the desired height you want, which obviously is going to affect your ride quality a little bit. However, this takes care of that sag. And with the right air pressure, you're still going to have a good ride. And being for the Frontier, that's the kit number right there from Firestone, 2558. And that works, at least I know, in the older body style, which they carried this body style for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and get the kit opened up and kind of, this isn't a direct how-to video, but kind of show you the basics of it and how they get installed and where they go and what have you. So I'm going to get into the box and get the truck up on the lift a little bit, not all the way up obviously, but a little bit, and get that kit in. All right guys, we got our box opened up here and most of it emptied out, not quite all of it. We got our U-bolts, a couple brackets in there, but the main brackets are out. The actual airbags themselves are out, and they actually look like a very good quality. They got some decent weight to them. And even when you don't want the truck leveled out, you want to run it like 5 pounds all the time into these things. It's good to have a little air into them than none at all. So keep that in mind as well. Lost cap. But what these kit is essentially is a bolt-on kit, and then you run your airline from your two and a splitter to go to the adjustable valves in the back, and then a place to mount them. We're not sure yet. We might get a little fancy on that, and the directions. So in a nutshell, basically what we got to do to get the Nissan in the air now is pull the rear wheels off and assemble our bags onto the mounting plates, and then the mounting plates onto the truck. All right, before I pre-assemble the bracketry for the airbag, let me just show you generally where it goes. And where that goes is on top of your leaf spring for your leaf sprung vehicles here, is you typically have to trim this bump stop flush. It sits on the bracketry, basically right there, and it's bolted in place, and then you run your airlines to it. Simple as that, kind of. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's the way it goes. So first things first, we cut these off flush. I believe that's the way they have it written out. And then we go ahead and mount the bags to the brackets and then get them on the truck. Driver's side, it's not bolted in. I just kind of set things in here, and we ran into our first problem on it, and that is the carbon stick canister on this 21 Frontier, where they mount it, and the bracket itself hangs down right here. The lighting kind of sucks, but that interferes with the bracket on the airbag itself. All right, guys, I lost my battery in my GoPro, so I had to swap it out, and I grabbed a flashlight. This is the bracket. I don't know how much of that got cut off, but this is the bracket that holds the factory carbon canister, at least on the 2021 model, that interferes with the U-bolt and the bracket for the airbag itself. So where I marked that line, we're going to actually trim that off. And believe it or not, where the canister mounts those two bolts, it doesn't actually interfere with the canister at all. I called the customer, talked with them because this truck's on the warranty. Make sure they're not going to be worried about it voiding their warranty because we're messing with altering the factory vehicle a little bit, and they are good. The other bracket that's in the way because of this truck specific year is the vertical brace, the small brace on this bracket. That's likely going to have to come off too. So a couple modifications, again, not a direct how-to, but we're going to get that trimmed off and then test fit. Take everything back off, get things cleaned up, painted, and then go ahead and continue with the install. All right, got the brackets all cleaned up. I'm ready for some paint, and as you can see, the rear section is what we trimmed off, this carbon canister bracket. And essentially, you just take the two mounting bolts on it on the rear side of this. So this would be on the vehicle mounted like so. And I run parallel down, right down through it, about a ½ inch from the mounting holes themselves. And as you can see, those two holes are where the carbon canister mount. And I just test fit everything up, and everything still fits just perfect. So we were able to skate through with this one, which is cool, with some minor trimming. All right, I just wanted to kind of show you before we go ahead and put the airbag back in here where the bump stop was. The bump stop has to get cut off essentially flush with the top of your U-bolts. The reason why you just can't take it off is because it's part of the saddle where your U-bolts go in there. So you have to flush cut it, and there's actually your bolt for your center pin and everything in there. So keep it at or below the level of your U-bolts, and you're good to go. I got everything kind of just loosely in place here, just to kind of show you how it goes together. Simply, it's just the U-bolts that saddle the top. And again, this is the side we had to modify the bracket, which I haven't put back on yet. I'll put it on after this is all tightened down. And then these bottom bolts go and go right around the leaf spring with a bracket on the bottom. However, the bolts, when they give them to you, are at least twice this length, and you're going to have to trim them down. So be aware of that before you go ahead and put it all together, because it's going to be sticking out like 3 inches, at least on this application. For the manual valves, he might upgrade to the compressor later, but we'll look for a good spot to put it, and there's plenty of room right next to his electrical plug-in for his trailer. So we're going to mount the 2 valves, the manual valves for the air system on the airbags right there. So a couple through holes, and mount those brass fittings through here, and then we'll run our air lines, get everything tightened down. Our manual valves all mounted up right here. You got a right and a left, so you can independently adjust this as well. If you had the tendency of your vehicle to sit lower on one side than the other, this could take care of that. Now we're going to go ahead and run the air lines, which is simple as that. It's just push-in connectors on the back. Simply slide it in and route it where you're not going to kink the hose, and do as many gentle bends as possible. I wish it wasn't red so it sticks out like a sore thumb. It even gave red zip ties. However, it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and get these lines run and over to our airbags. All right, I just wanted to kind of show you the carbon canister back in place and bolted back up in its factory location with clearance. It's hard to tell with the light, but there's plenty of clearance around this bracket and this bolt on the forward inside. Loops around the brake lines, no issues whatsoever. So now we just got to put the carbon canister, slips right in here with 2 bolts, and make our connections, and this is back together. We got our lines run and connected. I did add some chafing, I don't know if you can see it, up in there where it kind of rests on a piece of the frame. Nice, neatly run. They are stretched out right now because the truck is in the completely relaxed position and there's no air in them. So go ahead and get that mounted up, and this baby is ready to put some air in. All right, I just wanted to say we got about 10 pounds of air in them, right now, just to get some air in these bags right here. And then what you want to do is all your connections, so one on the top of each airbag and one by the fittings back there, hit it with some soapy water. Make sure you don't have any leaks so you don't end up thinking you're good to go, and then you get to where you're going and it's deflated. So double check, make sure you got leaks. If you got any leaks, get them corrected now. All right, we got everything buttoned back up, the wheels back on. We went ahead and we did a few other goodies for them, some different fog lights, some auxiliary reverse lights, and the airbags are all in. Tires rotated. We're gonna get this thing on the ground and adjust them. We got about 5 pounds in them now. As you can see, they don't look so stretched anymore. It's hard to see because the light's not great. But again, it's hanging, so that's free weight. Get on the ground. We got about 5 pounds in there. You always want to keep at least 5 pounds in them. And I believe the max is 100, but don't quote me to that. All right, I know it's hard to tell, but remember how it looked before sitting outside? It was quite lower in the rear, and it still is, even though we have about 10 pounds in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put like, I don't know, 20 or 30 pounds and see what it looks like. And it's literally as simple as that. You push it on there with the air truck, and you give it a little air, and then you check it with the valve, just like your tires. All right, that's about 35 pounds right there, and it looks like it's sitting pretty level. It actually went up about 1.5 inches, but the garage floor is very tapered in here in the shop, so I'm gonna get it outside. We may have to tweak it a little bit, but worked pretty slick. All right, guys, there it is. Leveled out with a little bit of a positive rake in the rear now. So we got about 45 to 50 pounds. I did check. You gotta run a minimum of 5 and a max of 100. So about 45 pounds. The rear of this truck went up 2 inches easily, and we regained that little bit of factory rake. Now keep in mind, this does have a 2.5-inch suspension lift. So right now we're sitting at 37 inches and 37.5 in the center of the fender wells, and that looks so much better. It gives it a much better stance. Customers should be happy with that. Hope you guys like watching. Maybe you got a few tips. Hit the like button and give us a subscribe. Thanks for watching Flippin' Customized.